Coming to you live from the South Street Seaport, brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose. The start of the game between the Knicks and the Raptors was nothing but bing bong. Mike Breen even dropped a bing bong, but then the second half happened, and the Raptors have put together this really interesting roster of a lot of players between 6'4" and 6'9". They play a lot of defense, they switch everything, and the Knicks had no answer for them in the second half. What did you think about this Raptors performance?
That description you just said, that's Messiah Jury Ball right there, my brother. The president of the Toronto Raptors. Get these guys, get them in your locker room, develop them. Take a Fred VanVleet, who's basically undrafted, and turn him into the biggest contract of a player in that situation. As I was watching this game, though, it was a lot of, I guess, initials. It was OG, because he was balling, clearly scoring, and he always plays D, and I love the tenacity he plays with. JR, Gary Trent Jr., and man, the Portland Trail Blazers could use him. And RJ for the Knicks, who's actually been playing really well, in particular the last couple of games. Even though the Knicks lost, I like what I'm seeing from RJ Barrett offensively, his aggression and his improved three-point shooting.
He's been aggressive, and he's also been very efficient. Last night, 9 for 13, 27 points on 13 shots. RJ Barrett was a bright spot. However, the second half did not look great for the Knicks. They still have some growing to do after that hot start. Moving on to another game from last night. It was the Nuggets facing off against Ja Morant, and no team, nobody has had an answer for Ja Morant this season. What do you think about the corner that he has turned?
So when you watch a league pass during the regular season, there are different times that you're going to win because of your best player. That happened with the Hawks last night, even though Trae Young struggling for three. And that happened last night with the Memphis Grizzlies going against the Denver Nuggets. He was just unstoppable getting to the basket. And I love the way he continues to attack, and he's fearless. And you know I like the way he throws his body around. He's willing to sacrifice that. And so, and also Jones was playing well. The young kid out of Duke, is good to see him playing some minutes, making some shots and making an impact.
He did play well. They've been getting a lot of contributions, not just from Ja, but from other players on that roster that aren't necessarily household names. Jalen, Franz Wagner is not necessarily a household name unless you're a big Michigan Wolverine basketball fan, which I know you are. And they drafted him off potential. He showed a lot of flashes last year, but he had a flash last evening that needs to be celebrated. I got a notification on my phone that said this might be the dunk of the year. Jalen, what do you think about Wagner's dunk? And could that possibly be the dunk of the year?
Not dunk of the year, but a lot of it has to do with who it's on, right? Is that Karl Anthony Towns in the picture? You know, it's like the John Starks dunk, right? People be like, he did Horace Grant and MJ, but it was only Horace Grant, who I love. Shout out to the OG.
So I'm glad you brought up who it was on, because I want to bring up these other potential Dunk of the Year candidates that are much better because they're also on some prolific defenders. And let's just start with Jaylen Brown on Miles Bridges. I know you remember this one. Come on, Miles.
That was nasty, and he punched this. Like, you gotta, you know what? I'm about to text this to Marcus Smart. Because that was, you know what I'm saying? Big Deuce passed it off to Big JB. They ain't had no problem flushing on my guy, Miles Bridges.
We also have Ja Morant, whose dunks are always so just aesthetically pleasing because of his size and his aggression. Boom, that one's an alley-oop, not necessarily on somebody, so that can't really be a dunk of the year as far as I'm concerned. But the last one, Brandon Ingram, not known for dunking on people, but who did he dunk on? Anthony Edwards. So you take a look at all of these candidates and you tell me which one is your dunk of the year.
Oh, this is easy, fam.
Easy.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. It's not even close to me. Not even close to me.
Jaylen Brown. The way he pogo stick, show his again. Because if you notice, usually people don't bang on people like that off 2 feet on the break like that. And right there, that's fearless right there. Look at
how far
that.
He cocked it back. Ooh,
you nasty,
I love that dunk so
boy.
much.
You nasty. I'm trying to tell you, dog. Hey, man, it's just fly to be a Jalen. It truly is. It truly is.
Well, Jalen, we have some news in the NFL, and we'll start with Von Miller. Look at that on paper. It says it's not that big a deal. The 76ers didn't just not have Ben Simmons. They didn't have Joel Embiid. They didn't have Tobias Harris, and yet they still handled the Trailblazers. Tough loss for them.
You know I like to say good win, Philly, because of all the reasons you just said. But this is a terrible loss for the Blazers. So much so, a savvy veteran crowd who pays attention to the goings-on in the NBA until their team, in particular with the trade surrounding Ben Simmons, they just feel like they're gonna bully the Blazers into doing the deal by chanting, "We want Dame." Is that what I saw? Did I saw some East Coast, bullying? Let me bring y'all behind the curtain just so I can calm everybody's nerves. When you calling me about Ben Simmons, on the other end, the recipient ain't talking about Damian Lillard. Let's just make sure we all on the same page about this. And again, for the Blazers, they've always lacked a level of interior balance. And Nurkic is the guy, Jacoby, that hasn't taken a consistent leap. I've seen him over the last couple of years show flashes, triple-doubles even, double-doubles. But then I see a lot of double singles, triple singles, foul trouble, giving up plays defensively. And not having that anchor, is in particular on a nightly basis, it stresses Dame to be accurate. It stresses CJ to create and make hellacious plays. Don't it seem like every time CJ make a shot, you're like, whew, that was a good shot? Because he got to work so hard because they don't have that balance.
Well, the Trailblazers have sputtered out of the gate a little bit, and you mentioned Dame's performance thus far, and in the postgame he's very articulate, talking about how he enjoys the struggle and he enjoys turning himself around. But look at his numbers when you compare previous seasons and this season's, and they just don't add up. Something needs to change for Dame and this Trailblazers unit. Look at that. He's averaging 10 points less a game. The field goal percentage is down. Assists per game is up. The rebounds are the same. But this needs to turn around in both Boston and both Portland. Why don't we just trade Dame for Jaylen Brown? Can we just do that? We trade Dame for Tatum or something? Can we just do that? Let's just fix everyone's problems right now.
Here's what I want you to also think about. Dame done played a lot of basketball over the last maybe 12 to 15 months, including Team USA.
Jalen, the third quarter, and then it all flipped and fell apart for the Celtics. But it was DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls who came storming back in the fourth quarter to get a big win. They only have one loss on the season.
And by the way, this is what Ben Simmons was required to do as a young player. See DeMar DeRozan. Now, here's a guy who I've called a mid-range marvel forever. It was a 25-point scorer in Toronto without even shooting threes. And then he started to shoot threes off the dribble. The maturation of his game, Jacoby, is they can throw it into Vucevic now, who played really well, kick it out to DeMar, and he can step in and knock down threes. You got LaVine still slashing, one of the best athletes in the game. You got Lonzo playing on-ball D, throwing lobs and being consistent. He's an improved three-point shooter. I really like what the Bulls did this offseason. And like I tell you, it looks so very much different around LaVine that they got a living, breathing general manager. LaVine has been a great player. Now it's great to see him surrounded by some guys that can go.
Absolutely, and this was a great performance by the Bulls, but the elephant in the room is